Good afternoon, everyone. It's Kristen Hancock, the Simcoe County Stamper, and today I want to share with you this cute little tissue box holder. So I'm going to share all of the dimensions and everything in the video description, so you don't have to try to write everything down during the video. It holds, like I said, some Kleenex. So you slide the belly band off and you open it up. And it's perfect size for Kleenex travel pack. Of course, with the different designer series paper, it could easily hold treats for any occasion. So with Halloween paper, you could put some Halloween treats, Valentine's, Easter, Christmas, you name it. I originally came across this idea, five or 6 years ago, from Angie Judah, who is a American demonstrator. So she gets the credit for this design. So I've got my Simply Scored out, and I've got my cardstock. I'm using Evening Evergreen, and it is 6.5 by 10.5. We're gonna score it at 1 inch. On both sides. And then on the long side, we are going to score it 2.5, 3.5. And again, I will be putting all these measurements up. 6, 7, and 9.5. Okay. I've got designer series paper, and it is Boughs of Holly. So I've got it 2.25 by 4.25. I've got 2 pieces that are 4.25 by 3/4, and I've got 2 pieces that are 3/4 by 2.25. So I'm just gonna set those up there. So you're gonna take your paper and you're gonna have this short strip on the side. I think it's 1 inch. And the fatter strip to the right-hand side. You're gonna count up to the 3rd score line, and you're gonna snip up to that score line, and then you're gonna cut on the score line right up to where that first cut was. So you would cut it off like that. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So cut to the score line, and then cut on the score line up to that first cut. Okay. So now we're going to cut on these. There's 2 score lines here that create like a little square. We're going to cut on each side, and then we're going to cut a little notch out. So I'm just coming in a little bit, and I'm going to go on an angle up to that point. So I've cut out like a little triangle like that. You can see. Same thing on the other side. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the reverse side. Cutting up to the score line, and then cutting out a little notch. Okay. So you're going to want your bone folder. we're gonna go ahead and fold on all those score lines. Just burnish it with the bone folder, making sure they're nice and crisp folds. Okay. Already see how it's taking shape. Okay, so this is how our box, you can kind of hold it together now and see what it's gonna look like. I rounded the corners on my original one. I'm not gonna round them on this one. We'll just leave it as is. So we've got our box in front of us. We've got the small tab, the flap at the top. Okay, we're gonna fold these in and put some tear and tape on them, on those little tabs. And then we're gonna put tear and tape on the inside of these bottom ones. So I'm just gonna hold it there for a second so you can visually see how that's gonna look. So I use my, use your take a pick tool or your piercing tool to help get off that strip. So the first thing we're going to do is fold that up. Okay, and then push. Same thing on the other side. And then we're gonna peel these ones off and we're gonna close our box like that, okay? Sometimes the hardest part is just getting that strip off. Okay. So just lining that up and then pushing down. Same thing on the other side. Okay, and now you have your box. And we can take our designer series paper and I'm going to use liquid glue because I have a little bit of play. If I don't get it on perfectly, I know that I can move it around. Okay, the next strip is going to go back here. Now, if you have paper like mine that is directional, then you want to make sure when you're cutting it that you're cutting it so that the pattern is going in the direction that you want it to. If it's a random pattern, it doesn't matter, but this would look funny upside down. So just be conscious of that if you're making one and when you're cutting the strips. And the last one. realizing what I forgot to do, and that's okay. I'll just do it now. Forgot to cut my piece ahead of time for the belly band. Set my box aside for a minute. Get my trimmer out. The belly band is going to be 1 1/4 by 8. When you cut your original piece of cardstock, you'll be able to use that 2-inch strip for your belly band. So there's very little waste. That's the only waste that you'll have. Now for the belly band, I just placed my box on top of it, and then I folded, creased the score line like that. Same thing on the top, just gonna crease and crease. Easy peasy. So I'm gonna add a little bit of adhesive here. And then because the liquid glue has a little bit of play, I don't want it super tight. So once I've got it on there, I'm gonna pull back a little bit, pull away a little bit so that it's not tight. I want it to be able to slide on and off so that whoever I give it to can get to their Kleenex or their treat. Okay. I stamped Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas from Framed and Festive. I stamped it in real red. And I'm just gonna use 2 dimensionals. Oop. And I'm gonna stick that right to the belly band. I'm using the Festive Pearls. Let's go gold this time. And then I've got a red bow. So I'm just gonna use a glue dot. And the red ribbon is in the holiday mini catalog as well. Comes in a red and green pack. So because I've put the bow right on the box, the belly band has to slide to the right. Otherwise, you know, it'll hit resistance when it hits that bow. So there we go. Super cute. Let me know in the comments what you would put in it. Would you put tissue? I'll slide it off. Would you put a little thing of tissue in there? Or would you put a treat in there? It makes a great stocking stuffer. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. I will make sure that I put all of the measurements as well as the products, items, and prices of the things that I used to create this today. Thank you so much for watching.